Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching. It is Late Night America on the American Doofus channel. And we've got a lot to talk about tonight. Of course, those that are 1776 situation aficionados, we will get to that. We've got some stuff to talk about there. Hello, profiler. Welcome. Thanks for hopping in here. Let's jump right into what we normally do, and we begin with breaking news around the mainstream. What are they talking about? One suspect in the Canadian mass stabbing's been found dead. Another is still at large. Judge grants Trump's request for a special master to review the Mar-a-Lago evidence. California officials warn that rolling blackouts are possible and call for some restraint in usage by the citizens of California. Suspect charged in abduction of the missing Memphis teacher has served time in the past for kidnapping. And just before coming on the air, we learned that a body has been discovered. It has not been positively identified or the cause of death determined. But just a few minutes ago, they did discover a body in that area. Zelensky to Murr on dialogue with Russia. We cannot have any kind of dialogue with Russia because they're a terrorist state, is basically what Zelensky put out. Sean Penn and Ben Stiller permanently banned from Russia. So that's what the mainstream is talking about. What the mainstream isn't talking about that I want to point you to give you something to think about here real quick. A lot of things go on around the world that we don't ever know about or ever hear about. And we try to bring those things out on this show. And we've been doing this for a while. Actually, for those that don't know, for those that are new to the program, first of all, thank you for watching. You're either a subscriber or somebody told you where to find us, or you searched, because we don't get a lot of promotion for what I just said. We talk about things that should be talked about that aren't necessarily talked about. And for those that don't know, this all started a couple of years back. And I'm just going to do this real quick here. Oh, dang. We'll start over. Oh, great. I hope we're still going. I hope we're still live. If something happened to the connection, please stand by. Hopefully we're getting it restored. Are we back? I think we're back. Hello, BTM Sparky. Hello, watching people fail or win. Hi, Sissy. Thank you for everything as always. And hello, everybody. Thanks for watching. Most people watch this on the replay and not live. So I do appreciate, I appreciate everybody watching live with everything that's going on, because there's a lot happening, and I don't know who else is live, to be honest with you. I don't worry about that kind of stuff. I just do the show. As I was saying before, I was a doofus and knocked things offline momentarily. This all started a couple of years ago, and it started because of my partner, Kay. And Kay, she said, you need to talk to more people than just me about this kind of stuff, because other people need to hear these things. and she set everything up. She set the sites up. She did all the IT and computer stuff, and one day I came back and sat down and started talking, and we did the first episode, and it took off. And thank you to everybody that helped it take off. And a couple of months, this is Kay. I just want to show. I don't know if this is even going to show or not. If you're going to be able to see it, probably not. Here, let me turn this. There we go. Can you see? Nope. There. That's Kay, and Kay started all of this. It's all her fault. And a couple of months after we started, one Monday morning, Kay passed away suddenly, and my entire everything kind of turned upside down. And so decided to keep it going, honoring Kay. And we're coming up on 2 years since the day that she passed away. And I just, I wasn't planning on doing this really, but just want to say thank you to everybody that has and continues to help me get through this, because I get by with a little help from my friends, and I consider you my friends, and I thank you for being here. Now, let's get back to the stories. And as I said, we talk about things that should be talked about that aren't being talked about. And those that watch the show know our friend Chris. And Chris, for those that haven't watched the show for a long, Chris is our security, our terrorism, our militia, and military expert, and has his own company, international company, and we value his input greatly. And Chris pointed me to this a couple of days back, and I missed the main focus. This came from Al Jazeera. Mali accuses France. Mali is a country in Africa, for those that aren't aware. Mali accuses France of sending weapons to armed groups. And Chris talked about this a couple of months back, the last time he was on the program, that this is what's happening in Mali, that France is trying to undermine the Mali government and replace it, because France got kicked out as far as the natural resources of Mali. Mali decided they wanted to keep them from themselves instead of letting France have it. France wasn't happy with that. Now, what the headline doesn't show, the armed groups that France is sending weapons to include ISIS and Al Qaeda. So perhaps the French aren't the nice people that we may think they should be. But of course, United States isn't always acting with anything other than our own best interest either. So I'm not going to point the finger too strongly at France when we do what we do. But at the same time, you probably never heard of, you might never have heard of Mali, because so much goes on in the world that just doesn't get talked about. And at some point, there's going to be a reckoning for everything that's been happening. It's going to catch up with all of us. Speaking of everything that's been happening, I got tipped that don't be surprised if you don't hear in the next couple of days of another incursion by Israel into Syria. Again, for those that don't know, Iran transports weapons through Syria down here into Lebanon to be used by Hezbollah against Israel right down here. And Israel has been trying to stop those routes of travel, including the Aleppo airport and Damascus. These are all Israeli strikes that have happened August 25th and August 31st. If you watched this program, you knew that was happening. And thank you to my friend, you know who you are, that tells me these things. The blue, these are attacks on United States and United States allies military bases. And the green are the U.S. attacks on August 23rd and 24 in retaliation for these two attacks. So there's fighting going on in Syria between United States forces, Iranian forces supported by Russia, and there are also strikes being launched by Israel against Syria. Again, it's something that you probably are not hearing anywhere else. And that's why we do this show. We talk about things that other people don't talk about. And then there are things that I mean, the 1776 movement, in my opinion, doesn't have enough attention because of the potential of heading things in a wrong direction are very possible. And yet it's on such a small scale that it's not drawing the attention that maybe it will someday prove to have warranted that people should have paid more attention to what was happening, I guess is the best way to say it. So we're going to transition and we're going to do a couple of quick science stories, as we always do. And not every episode, but we do it at least weekly. The Doomsday Glacier, which could raise sea level by several feet, is holding on by fingernails, according to some scientists. So that's something that we'll definitely be keeping an eye on, as you can imagine. Also, in the world of science, we've got these are solar filaments you can see coming off of the sun. And we got a solar filament watch because the area right here that is coming towards the sun, or coming towards Earth, this is Earth, by the way, that little dot right there, that area is really active. This area right here is potentially active, and it's going to be pointing at us over the next 24 hours. So we'll be watching for that, just in case something does break off. And if you watch the show, you know why that matters, because electricity matters a lot to us in our modern world. And it also matters a lot to us as human beings and impacts us. And people don't often think about that. So with solar activity possibly on the rise, and with the magnetic poles both in migration and the magnetic field weakening, the sun's impact on us is going to grow. So that is why we keep bringing it up. For those that are watching for the first time, hello, thank you, everybody. Earthquakes. This is something that is very odd. You'll see this earthquake right here. It's a 6.1 and
0.9, let's just call it a 7.
6.9.
A 7.0 range earthquake that struck right here on our letter X. This is at the middle of the mid-Atlantic ridge. But to understand where this earthquake came from, we actually have to go back a few days, and we have to look directly through the planet to the opposite side of the planet, to what's called the antipode, to the opposite side of the planet. And that's going to take us all the way over here to this 6.1 earthquake here at the Solomon Islands, eastern Papua New Guinea.
Okay, so basically there was an earthquake on one side of the world and on the direct opposite side of the world within just a couple of degrees, this almost identical sized earthquake happened, going all the way through, it appears, something that is unusual and something that scientists are looking at. All right. One, I got two other quick things. Now, after that happened late Saturday night. Then on Sunday, I'm sorry, today's Monday, almost Tuesday. Okay, so that happened Sunday. Now today, there were multiple M6.2 to M6.6 earthquakes suddenly struck around the world. And the point there that I have stopped it at, here are two of the big earthquakes that happened today. Now, the guy who does this site is really good at predicting earthquakes. And so we should look right here at this D and right here at this S, right in here, for a possible big earthquake coming in the next couple of days. Because as you can see with the arrows, that's the way the energy flows. Okay. And as it said, one of the severe quakes, and then as it showed, one of the severe quakes hit in China. And I've got a little bit of footage of what that looks like. Now, I don't speak Chinese, but I have a feeling that somewhere in all of that dialogue that we just heard might have been some swear words. Probably would have been had I been driving down that road. All right. So that takes us to the 1776 restoration movement. Did a brief little recorded thing on it this afternoon. They didn't have Defender of Ants. They didn't have Anarchy Princess. They didn't have Lori Arnold. They didn't have Freedom Squirrel and Red Squirrel or Jersey Jay or Telescope, or they didn't have anybody to focus their aggression on, and they focused it on two of their own. And I'm going to talk about it just a little bit here. Now, also, I've got a clip, and basically what I'm going to do, I've got clips from Golden Chariot's video today. An incredibly compelling video. I didn't watch the entire 8 or 9 hours, of course, but it was compelling. The parts I did see, and plus I watched some of it on Anarchy Princess's streams. Golden Chariot was one that was removed today. Rose was the other that was removed today. We also, I believe we've learned that X-Ray is no longer, X-Ray X-Foot is no longer part of the movement, that he had been removed. But I believe that was something that had happened before and just wasn't spoken of until today. It was kind of made official, unofficially. Rose and Golden Chariot. Now, I have done an episode on the 1776 movement. It was when they were in Washington, D.C. It was when the former president Trump had a speech in D.C. and a lot of supporters and protesters at that event. And shortly after that, I did an episode that I thought the 1776 movement was devaluing the word patriot. It was devaluing the flag, and it was devaluing Christianity. And it's the last point that I want to focus on right now. A big thing was made about how Christianity was such a part of the 1776 movement, and yet the two people, other than maybe Ma and Pa, and for those that don't watch 1776, you're probably sitting there going, Golden Chariot, Ma and Pa, X-Ray. I understand. We've been spending more time on this show on 1776 than we have on a lot of other topics. And I've personally been spending way too much time watching what's going on. But it's the greatest reality TV show there is. And even though Anarchy Princess and Lori Arnold and Defender Vance, all the whole cast, if you will, even though none of them were around today, they were all on all of their lips and in all of their heads. And I've written 8 screenplays. I've written 3 novels. I've written 2 nonfiction books. And you can't write this stuff. This stuff has been organically happening. And just when you think everything is going to calm down, everybody's going to be able to take a break, no, it just gets crazier. And to me, something I don't know if anybody else is talking about this, but the fact that Dom and Rose were 2 of, if not the most, they felt the Christianity part of the movement was significant. The 2 of them. And this is just my opinion as an outside observer. The 2 of them thought Christianity was a significant part of this movement. And both of them were removed today. And that's their business. And it's a business. It's an LLC. 1776 Restoration Movement is an LLC. It is a business. Okay? It's not really a movement. And we've been talking about that for weeks as well, that if this is a movement, you're going about it in an asinine manner. But nonetheless, that's neither here nor there. And it's just, and maybe it's just something that I'm reading into it. You know, maybe it has nothing to do with it, but it sure seemed like the faith part of it mattered a lot to Dom and mattered a lot to Rose. And anytime you've got a group, you got this group, and the group's got here, let me do that. The group's got 2 subgroups, and one subgroup labels themselves, I'm sorry, I'm moving and the camera's having trouble focusing because I'm not supposed to move. You got 2 groups, and one group labels themselves outlaws, and the other group is labeling themselves as Christian. The true practitioners of Christian and the outlaws, at some point you're going to have conflict, because the two philosophies don't marry well, okay, as far as merging in groups. And again, we're talking about people that actually believe and try to practice not just somebody that wears the label because they think it makes them acceptable. And we've talked about that on here before too. Um, hey, Summer Dickerson's in here. Al Munson, how are you? Hello, Travis. Um, Gosh, we've got some people in here. Oomph. I've seen you a lot in chats. I admire your comments. Dean Wall, how are you, Dean? They might have been the only actual Christians in there. I mean, I'm not going to declare that, but it sure gives you something to think about, as we like to say on here, because it seemed like it was incredibly important to them, and maybe it wasn't as important to some others. I don't know. Now, let me just go ahead and go ahead and play a little bit of this from Dom. Now, this was when he was still at Bunker Hill, and he had just loaded up his vehicle. And by the way, somebody said he had a gun in the car, and he had a gun in the car and was heading to DC. I did not see a gun being put into the car. I saw a cot that you sleep on, I think, put into the back seat of the car. But that doesn't mean it didn't happen. It just means that I didn't see it, and I didn't watch it a bunch of times or slow it down or anything like any of that. So I just want to put that out there before we play this. This is right after he has loaded up the car. Whoa.
It's a BB gun.
Okay. I'd missed that the first time around, so there is a gun in the car. Now we're going to bump it up here just a little bit more. And I'm just doing this at random. I'm just stopping at random points, and we're just going to show a little bit of what went down with Dom.
Corinne wasn't removed, but because they are leaving today, they aren't letting her in either because she wouldn't have a ride.
Santa,
Guys, I am not getting rid of Corinne.
Santa gave me 2 hugs. He said, I'm allowed to be around 76 because I've been so respectful and I have not done anything, and I haven't even written about it. I haven't done anything. All I've done is try to show what an incredible group and a leader Santa is. So I don't know anything else. That's all I know, is that I really respect David Rydell. I don't know anything else. That's all I know. So why are you trying to tell them to get rid of me? Just drop me off then.
I'm not trying to tell them. They are.
No, I know, but you know the people who are saying that. Yes, exactly. So you don't need to make me feel like trash.
And here's an example of how the chats have impacted what's happened in throughout this on both sides. Let's jump ahead. Let's see what's happening. Okay, I know what's happening here. Dominic, or I'm sorry, Golden Chariot turned the sound up on his radio really, really loud to drown out the person in his passenger seat who's known as Corinne. Let's jump ahead a little bit and see if we can catch some of Dom's thoughts.
Golden Chariot is driving. It has nothing to do with me.
Sounds like the same song's playing again.
You guys like chat without moderators? That's funny. That's funny.
Okay. We're going to hop ahead a little here. And yes, his wipers do not work, and was driving in a rainstorm in a rage at one point. And let's jump to the end here. Here we go. So he does that for, well, basically pretty much the rest of the video, trying to, I think, kind of trying to de-stress from everything that had happened. He took this very, very serious. This was a very big part of his life, and he had dedicated his life to this, basically. Now, we talk about, I talk more on here about the opposition, but I can't discount the genuineness of Dom and his beliefs in what he was doing. And I don't discount the beliefs of anybody, whether they label themselves as a patriot or whatever they label themselves as. I'm not going to discount anybody's genuineness for their passion for what they're standing for, whether I agree with it or not. I acknowledge the beliefs that he seemed to hold throughout the whole thing, including the belief that we all need to come together. We all need to come together. I'm not, I'm not going to be Don Quixote and say, we can all kumbaya and the whole country come back together. No, we need to, we should have tried. We should keep trying. We should have been trying for a long time instead of letting the divisions keep growing and growing and growing. But we're at the point now where, if you've watched since we started this, I showed you some things that are going on Earth. All right. Now, these things, nobody's going to be able to control any of these things if they kick off and we have a STHF situation. All right. Nobody's going to be coming to help because everybody's going to be in the same situation. And in my opinion, we ought to start looking at the fact that we are one race, the human race, and we ought to start finding commonalities, and we ought to start realizing that there are a whole lot of more of us in the middle than there are on either one of the two extremes. And there are two extremes. Okay, we talk truth on here. But there are so many more of us that are in the middle, if you will, and are not part of either one of the extremes. And yet both extremes are going to try to tell everybody, you got to pick a side. You're going to have to pick a side. Just throwing it out there, just giving you something to think about. And hey, at the top, let's see. I'm not sure who all's in here, but at the very top, the very top post should have a link into it that you'll be able to come on camera if you'd like and talk for a couple of minutes. And I want to invite a couple of people up that I've seen in the chat. Pluck the Patriarchy. If you'd like to come up, I'd really like to talk to you for a couple of minutes. And Real Talk, if you want to come up, and Summer Dickerson, if you're comfortable yet. If not, totally get it, and we'll do it soon. And Glow Lady. Glow, are you the Glow Lady that does the astrology things, the charts? And are you the same Glow Lady that that has been tracking the 1776 movement, I guess, through charts? Because I've seen some of your episodes. Awesome, nice to have you here. Okay, Summer, jump on. And again, Pluck the Patriarchy. If you're on here, hop on. Dr. Justice for All. Super person from what I've seen from the chats is Dr. Justice for All. I think so too. I think Dom was trying to communicate that, hey, you know, we ought to start talking with each other more than we yell at each other. And at the moment, we do an awful lot of yelling at each other in a lot of situations, and very little talking to each other, or more importantly, hearing each other, listening to each other. I've been warning people about earth changes since 2005. Out of tragedy, people come together in love. I hope you're right. I really do, because there are so many things going on. And we've talked about more than a few of them here, even in this episode. The wars and rumors of war, the changes in the earth, famines, droughts, floods, everything happening at once. And for some of us, I think we see these things as warning signs that we should try to change our behavior as a species. But just something to think about. Oh, that's okay, Summer. I want to talk to you about something else. But it ties in with the 1776 thing. Glow Lady joined Freedom Convoy on March 5th, People's Convoy on March 7th. Cool. If you'd like to come up, Glow Lady, again, if you want to come up, hit the link at the top and it'll take you, I think it's called Backstage. You'll pop up on my screen and I'll pop you right up here. Glow Lady, since you've been that long, if you're comfortable, and you don't, you can just do audio only, I believe. I've been wanting to talk to somebody that was there from back at that point. And if you're not comfortable tonight, maybe we can set something up, send me an email, and maybe we can set something up in the future. GT Massive, they all want to go home and be treated well. Yeah, I would think that, but I would also think that out of some of their actions, some of their family and some of their friends have to be questioning what they're doing, why they have been occupying an asphalt parking lot. And maybe they do have some great giant plan, and it's not just a big flying by the seat of your pants thing, as it appears to this particular outside observer. Now, those of you that are members of the 1776 followers and viewers of that, you're going to appreciate this lady. And those that know her always appreciate her. Summer Dickerson, how are you?
Hello, how are you? My voice is a little
I'm.
hoarse, so I apologize.
Let me see if I get you. How do I do this? Where I get you to full screen, or I don't know.
What's up, everybody? How are y'all doing
There we go.
tonight?
There we go. There we go. There. Hi, Summer. How are you?
I'm doing good. Voice is a little hoarse. We had a protester pass away, and so we chanted and stuff at the funeral, and my voice got a little thrown. So I apologize. But other than that, I'm doing. How are you doing tonight?
Okay. We're hanging in there. We're hanging in there. Um, give those that don't know just a 2 or 3 minute version of your background.
So my name is Summer Dickerson. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. I am a human trafficking survivor, now turned advocate for women and children, and really all social justice. I was obviously a part of the 2020 Breonna Taylor stuff. I actually lived over there. I'm a part of the 911 calls and all that kind of stuff. So I just really am trying to bring people together, bring a light on injustice, whether it's women, children, or just people in general. And then also getting people to understand that, like, somehow we got to come together because the problem is the system, but it plays us all.
Yeah. 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 And that's why, and we've had you on here and we've talked about the human trafficking. It's been a focus of this show for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the reasons the 1776 thing drew my attention, because of the possibility that some things were going on there that needed to be stopped.
Yeah, so that's actually, so I'm going to be honest, and listen, for anybody in the chat, new friends, I love new friends. I don't know a lot about the 1776 movement. What did catch my attention, though, anytime that there is, some encounters that shouldn't be happening, that's actually what brought my attention to it. Some people had reached out to me and said, hey, I got some little nuggets I'd like to drop in your ear. And so I just been looking a little bit that way. But yeah, no judgment, because I don't really know everything that's going on. So, but yeah, that's what kind of got me to pay attention to it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And Ken, we have, as you know, we have a wide and diverse viewing audience. We've been doing this for a while. Is it okay if somebody out there watching has been like, I don't know where I can go for help? Can they still reach out to you?
100%. So, you can reach us at summerdickerson79@gmail.com, or you can find me on YouTube, which is Hot Mess Summer, Facebook, Summer Dickerson. And I run a women's shelter. We also do help with excursions. I actually go in on certain situations and help get victims out at times. We look for missing people. So yeah, we do a lot of stuff. And just if they need somebody to plug in and talk to, you know what I mean? Like maybe men and women, by the way, because this happens to both. And so, yeah, if there's some people that just need a reach out and say, hey, just give me a little bit of patience, because in the middle of all of my, all of the wonderful things that I get to do, I'm also going through things. So, just have to ask everybody to be patient with me a little bit. But yeah, I'm still, ain't nothing stopping me, Barry. I didn't survive all this. I didn't survive all this.
Exactly.
So silly shit to stop me. Yeah, no.
Exactly. And it seems like those of us that have been through some crap, those somehow we're the ones that are telling everybody that, hey, it can be okay.
Yeah.
And I think it's because we know that it can be okay. And no matter what we're facing, if we face stuff together, even if it's just a couple of us, it's a lot better than trying to do everything by yourself. And especially in a situation where you're dealing with trauma.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Trauma's real. And I mean, listen, the system wants to divide all of us. And I'm not going to sit there and say that there's not issues that are going on in this world. We all know that, regardless of what side of the fence you think you stand on. If you think you stand on the side of a fence, you're a puppet. I ain't trying to be disrespectful, just honest. Because we have to come together. I understand there's things in our history. I understand there's things in our future that are uncertain and messed up. that somehow, because the system's playing all of us, you know what I mean? Like it's playing all of us like a violin. And the fact that we still have people that think that there's a side, it's sad because that just shows how much work we really have to do. But we don't have to agree on every single thing because we're all human. We all have our own walk. But it is the people that have been through a lot. I've been trafficked. I've been through a lot of stuff. I've had a lot of really bad things happen to me. And I could hate people. I could hate somebody from all groups. And I don't. You know what I mean? I've been sold to the highest bidder of just about every circle you could go to, but I don't hate people because at the end of the day, we got to come together. The good people have to come together. The people that have been through things, that understand how hard it is, we have to come together because at the end of the day, it's us. We have us. That's it. If we think we're waiting for some guy with a cape or orange hair to come and save us, it's not going to happen. We have to save ourselves. And the only way we can do that is to stop with the fuckery and come together.
I agree. Wholeheartedly. And your ministry is Women of the Well ministry, right?
Women of the Well. Our website is www.ky.org. And then it shows a little about the house and it just has some basic information. We also, I'm going to be popping another website up soon. So I have a soap company and survivors of trafficking make the soap and then all the proceeds go to help women coming out of it. Like I said, we have a survivor-led safe spot for women to stay at. Not necessarily like a safe house. When I say a safe space, it's just a safe space for women that have been through a lot of trauma. Because when you've been through trafficking and that kind of stuff, and especially usually that kind of abuse happens really early on, you can't just be thrown into any shelter. You can't just be. I mean, you can, but to get the right healing and to get the support and to get everything that you need. And so that's why Esther's House, which we just celebrated 5 years. 5 years open. Yes. I didn't think I was going to last 6 months, if we're being honest. But hey, with God, anything's possible. So, I'm doing it, thank God. And we're still, we've had a couple rough years, but we're still open. We are still helping women, and so, yeah, just get plugged in. No matter where you're at, you can send prayers and you can send support. So, and if you need help, reach out.
Excellent. Okay. Thank you for popping on here. I love you. I got one more thing to ask.
Go for it.
What's the attitude like in the community with the advancement of what looks like potential justice for Breonna Taylor? And after everything that we've observed and journalized and reported and covered for the past 2.5 years, it seems like there's light at the end of the tunnel. Does the community feel that way?
I would say so. Yeah. I think we're very, very, some of us are not surprised because if you've listened to some of the things most of us said, we said that there's lies been going on. We said that the stuff wasn't right. You know what I mean? Like 2 and 2 was not adding up at all. And so, as you all know, 4 cops have been, had charges pressed against them. One of the ladies, she's already flipped and took a deal. So that actually makes me feel really good about justice coming. The other 3 officers are facing life in prison ×2, if I'm not mistaken. It feels really good because all those people that sit there and told us that, and the fact that it was all because of a lie, right? So if you lie about one thing in an investigation, and this is the issue that we have, right? If you lie about one thing, you're going to lie about something else. And you got to keep lying. And so that's what happened. And it's really disappointing that the AG and them didn't see that. But at this end of the day, we knew. I remember the day I walked out of my townhouse and seen the FBI in the parking lot in front of her house. And I took a picture and was like, it's not over yet. And we knew the DOJ was in town. So I believe that there's going to be more people. We had the 4 cops and then some officer being a jackass said some very inappropriate things, and he lost his job as well. So we're not dealing with it. We're not, this is a city that regardless, a lot of people are like, you all don't know what you're doing. She's never going to get justice. Said all these crazy bad things about her. But at the end of the day, what people have to realize is when you are a police officer and you are a judge and you are all these things, you take an oath to do your job the correct way. I don't care if someone, and she wasn't, but I don't care what anybody does. Do your job the right way. And if they would have done their job the right way, she would still be alive. 7 people that we lost during our protest in Louisville, Kentucky, David McAtee, Travis, Tyler, Chris, like all the people that we lost, they would all still be alive. Like all because they lied. So we're very happy about that. I am going to say that, just hear me out, I do think more people are going to be getting in trouble. And then I also suspect some officers getting in trouble for the way they did us in the protest. So yeah, I expect some more heads to roll. But yeah, we happy.
And you mentioned David McAtee,
Mm-hmm.
and his killing kind of got lost in all this.
Well, it did and it didn't, right? So this is what I try to explain to people. In his situation too, it's a little. What makes his is a little bit different is the feds are involved. The actual National Guards was the one that actually killed him. There was a female officer that was held accountable, is getting in trouble for like shooting off the first pepper ball or something like that. Don't hold me to quotes. It's been a long 2.5 years. But it was actually the National Guard that killed him. And so that takes it to a different level. That takes it, same thing like here with the Breonna Taylor, it went from state to federal and DOJ. And so nobody was knowing anything, regardless of what people tell you, you may hear, nobody knew anything. We would not know anything until they came out and said something. And so, the same thing will happen. I expect the same thing is going to happen probably with David McAtee's case as well, but we're not letting it go. We're not letting any of these cases go. You know what I mean? Like we, those are 2 very big cases, but unfortunately, we have tons and tons and tons of cases of police brutality here in Louisville. And so we're not stopping, so, and then we got one of the other cops fired as well. If it was involved with David McAtee, he got hired on somewhere, and we were like, yeah, no. So we're not dealing with it. Our community shouldn't have to deal with it. No one should have to feel unsafe because of the police department. You know what I mean? And it's not just in one area. It's happening everywhere in our community. It's happening to all different populations in our community, whether it's women, whether it's Black and brown people. Like it's got to stop. And so I'm just glad that, we're getting some kind of results. We'll see what happens with the rest.
And the reason I brought him up is because he was killed by the National Guard.
Yeah.
And people think the only time the National Guard or any U.S. military has ever killed anybody was in 1968 at Ohio University. And no, it happened. Yeah, it happened 2.5 years ago.
It happened in Louisville. So what was crazy about that situation, we were all, we were protesting or whatever. They had strict orders. Like not to go past. We have this in Louisville. We have this place called the 9th Street Divide, which is, it really unfortunately keeps the city segregated in some sense. We're changing that too, slowly but surely. But anyway, they were told not to go down there. Where David McAtee, which you'll probably hear me call him Yaya. What Yaya did is he was a barbecue. They had a barbecue stand. He fed everybody. He fed the police. He fed everybody in the neighborhood. I do homeless outreach. He gave me food all the time to feed people. Like he was just, and a smile that just was priceless, right? And so they went down there where normally on a weekend night where guys are just sitting around in the parking lot, like a Cars Club type of thing, just hanging out, not bothering anybody. They were not protesting. They were not doing anything like that. And the National Guards went down there and in return ended up killing David McAtee, and his body laid out on the concrete for 12.5 hours. And so it should have never happened. You know what I mean? Like it should have never happened. They should have never been down there. And so people's heads rolled on that, like, the chief and I don't even think, and let me just say this, I don't think it's just the police that need to be answering for this kind of stuff. There was a chief that was in play, and there's a mayor that's in play. The mayor, whether people understand this or not, he oversees the police. All of your mayors do. And you have to acknowledge his power. I'm not best on it, but you follow me when, there should be some other people that answer for this kind of stuff, because, I believe that the judge that rushed in Breonna's case, that rushed the 5, regardless if she was lied to or not, there was 5 warrants that were signed that night in a matter of minutes. That's ridiculous. From my understanding, let me just say that from my understanding. Yeah. And then with McAtee, he shouldn't be dead. You know, people were down there doing what they do every weekend night. Yeah, we were protesting, but we were 15 minutes away from where he was. There was no point for the National Guard to go down there at all.
Except the only reason they were there because it was a gathering of Black people.
Yeah, 100%. It was in the West End.
Call it like it is.
Yeah, it's in the West End where Black men
because
hang.
It always happens. Yeah.
Well, we have a gas station. It's called Dino's, and Yaya's is right across the street. Just like, I always say this scenario, just like, you know, white guys get together, or, you know, men get together with their car shows and things like that. Mm-hmm. That's how this was, except it was Black men. Yeah. They were hanging out where they always hang out. It's never an issue. If they're, I don't even know what today's Monday, so they're not there right now, but you know what I mean? Like, they're there every weekend and have been since. And Yaya would, it was a straight place for the guys to hang out. And I just think it's bullshit. Like, you know, Black men, brown men, people should be able to go places and do things. And we can't, you know, you can't sit there and be like, oh no, that's just them making an issue. No, we're not. Nobody wants to do this. Nobody wants to constantly bury their family members and their community members for absolutely no reason, except for a cop that doesn't want to do their job the right way. That's not okay. Yeah. You know, and I mean, it was crazy. Even the night Breonna got killed, a white boy got killed by the police. You know, I mean, the night when they released Breonna Taylor's autopsy, it had his and hers autopsy in it. You know what I mean? So, like, you can't tell me Ish is not messed up.
Yeah.
It's you know, and yeah, we have to fight this. And yes, police brutality happens a lot, but it's happening a lot in Black and brown communities, and it's not okay. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we're doing everything. And here in Louisville, we're fighting on two fronts, right? We're fighting against police brutality and systemic racism. And then we're also taking care of our community, because we're not stupid. We understand that all of our communities are struggling. And so we get out and we put the work in, and we pour into our youth, and we pour into the families and the people that we can, you know what I mean? So we just got to start taking care of each other. We really do.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that. That was awesome. As always. And I always enjoy having you on here. Will you come back on again?
Always.
Okay. All right. And I am seriously, I'm going to get down to Louisville.
Yeah, most definitely.
And when I do, we'll sit down and have a drink.
Hell yeah. I'm with it.
All right. All right.
All right.
And who knows, maybe we'll do 2 live streams. You know,
we can do that.
Live stream each other. All right. Love you.
All right.
Thank you, darling.
Love you too.
All right. Bye.
Everybody be safe, stay dangerous, and keep that head on a damn swivel. Holler.
There you go. The one and only Summer Dickerson. Thank you, Summer. And again, if anybody else wants to hop on here real quick, we're getting close to an hour, and I like to kind of keep things at an hour. Because a lot of people watch on the replay. The majority of people watch on the replay or watch at their lunch hours and things like that. So if anybody wants to hop on real quick, hop in there while we're open. And I'll be back. Actually, we'll do this again tomorrow night at 11 p.m. too. And if anybody wants to hop on, you'll be able to. I wanted to, it looked like, I got you, Pluck the Patriarchy. Yeah. Okay. Hey, BTM Sparky, I thought you might appreciate that. WYSIWYG is talking to Santa and Squirrel. Okay. Well, I'll be hopping over there here in a few minutes. Oh, BTM Sparky, not even close. No. And I've got to be careful how I talk about it. And it's always, I've always got to say alleged, but no, no, there are many people that care about what Summer's talking about what a lot of us are talking about that might have occurred at some point with all this situation. Red Squirrel, how you doing, man? Glow Lady, let's make a date to come on. Cool, we will. Oh, cool. Al Munson, that was Summer Dickerson. Yes, she's from Louisville. Oh, I see Sissy answered. Breonna Taylor, yeah. They have it's not over. The feds have come in and there have been many charges leveled against the police that were involved that night, as well as Travis Nagy. Travis ended up getting shot and killed. Um, Gosh, the camera guy, Tyler. As Summer said, 7 different people besides Breonna Taylor ended up losing their life one way or another because of everything that happened there. Okay. Hey, thank you, Summer. No, it's not over. It's not over at all. And so we'll have Summer back on here again, and we'll have Glow Lady on, and we're going to have Pluck the Patriarchy on. We're going to have a lot of people on. Hopefully, we'll get the squirrels on. Filing a lawsuit against LMPD because rock on. Yeah, I want to get the squirrels on. I'd like to have everybody on. I'd like to get I'd like to get Dom on Golden Chariot, just to talk and what those that don't know, you see how I do things as far as interviews, and it's not for some shows it's about the person sitting here, and that's not how we do things. It's about the people that we have on to talk, because we appreciate their time and we appreciate them sharing, and that's with Chris, that's with Summer, that's with anybody that comes on. We appreciate the fact that you're willing to talk, you're willing to listen, and you're willing to share. And I love y'all. I love y'all. Thank you. We'll be back tomorrow night, Tuesday, 11 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That'll be 10 Central, 9 Mountain, 8 Pacific. Hope to see you then. And thank you for being here now. I love y'all. Namaste. Shalom. Salam. Assalamu alaikum. Blessings in the name of the Most High and His Son and the Holy Spirit. If you are not affiliated with anything, peace, love, positive vibes. We can all do this. We can all come together. It's not going to happen. I'm being realistic. I know that. But enough of us can that we can make an impact. I believe that.